Well, let's get started. Hi, I'm Leah Spesser. You know me. I assume so if you've responded to this webinar because we've been meeting off and on. So this is the easiest call that you will ever see. Basically, if you apply, you are pretty likely to get in. So I'm just going to go over what you need to, why you should apply and what you need to apply. Why should you apply? Well, you're getting some services if you apply. You're going to get, it's called awareness and networking. What does that mean? It means you're going to get invited to events. You're going to be on the list server or the forum, the CKTO forum. There's a variety of things that we've been doing, and we have more things planned to bring you together with your colleagues in knowledge transfer, as well as people in various parts of the ecosystem. The second thing you're going to get is you're going to get training. And the training comes in a couple of variants. One training you get is if you've come to some of the talks we've done on valuation or on IP, there's training in that. We'll be doing other kinds of training as we move along that is targeted for people who are in spokes, such as how to walk through a lab and find out what IP you have, and to create a catalog of assets that you have, a variety of other things. I'll be doing those. In addition, in the training, we'll be doing some capacity building. So I know I've been out to some of your universities to talk to your faculty and researchers. You get access to that kind of stuff and more that, so you want me to show up, work with people there, glad to do it. You want to say, how can we leverage an entrepreneurship program we have to help in commercializing research that we're doing, or finding sponsored research, or finding other kinds of ways to bring industrial money into the university or my research institute, like the Cypress Institute, or into my Center of Excellence. We can get together and talk about that. I visited some of you already, looking forward to visiting everybody I haven't visited. But that's the kind of access that you get in the training and capacity building. And the reason we need to do this is because there's all sorts of regulations that I have to do so I don't give unfair advantages to people. So by becoming a spoke, you free me up to come and visit you and to work with you directly, as well as other people to work with you directly. And that leads me to the next kind of training that's important. There's a certain amount of in-house training that you can also get from our CKTO contractor, the Meta company. It's an Italian company who has some strengths in intellectual property. And this call is limited to 10 organizations because the contract with them we have says you give special hands-on help to 10 of the spokes. And so this first call gives you access. When you get in, it's a first come, first serve system. First come means you apply, you get through the acceptance process. First people through acceptance get the first served. And then finally, you're going to get a variety of supportive material. And some of you have seen my document, Everything the Researcher Needs to Know About Commercialization, that I've been disseminating. I've been sending out templates for doing various kinds of license agreements and other agreements, templates for disclosures and so on, over the forum and in other ways when people ask. I've been reviewing IP policies for people. All that continues to come if you are a spoke. Now, I just said earlier, this call is for the first 10 approved organizations. Don't worry, as soon as we get the first 10 in, we're going to do another call. The difference between that call and this call is there's no meta support. for you on a one-on-one basis. There's meta support as part of the generic stuff, but the one-on-one stuff, you're only getting me after that. That's the core difference between the two calls. Now, having said that, we have worked hard, Katya and I, to make this, for lack of a better term, a no-brainer to apply. So to apply, all you need to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. Thing number 1, go to IRIS, submit the application. And make sure that a legal representative signs it. Always good with your CKTO services application too, to remember that. Number 2, have an IP policy. It can be the world's greatest IP policy or the world's worst IP policy. We don't care. You just have to have one. So if you don't have one, download one from the web, whatever. Get an IP policy up there that it has to be approved. But everybody who's listening to this probably has an IP policy already. Number 2, you need a disclosure form. If you don't have a disclosure form, download one from the web. I believe there's one at WIPO that I sent around. There's plenty out there. Type into a browser disclosure form and for IP or for inventions, and it will show up. You need a method to collect and evaluate your intellectual assets at your organization. Again, pretty easy to do. What's your method? Faculty member brings it in, we've collected it. We send it to the CKTO for evaluation. You got it, you're in, no problem. You must have a knowledge transfer office, forgive my Americano for calling it a tech transfer office. You must have a knowledge transfer office and somebody or a knowledge transfer officer. You're a small institute, a small organization. You may only have one person. That's okay. You don't need an office, but you need somebody there who, as part of their job responsibilities, says, you're the knowledge transfer person. They can do other things too. Doesn't just have to be a knowledge transfer person, but somebody's got to be responsible for this kind of stuff. And finally, you need a budget for IP, for patenting and that kind of stuff. We don't tell you what your budget should be. You say, my organization is only willing to devote €1 to this. You have a budget, you're in. Hopefully, you're not going to take the de minimis, because that's not going to be very helpful for you. But you do want to demonstrate that you have a budget for it. If you put all those things in a document and you put that in, I believe it's Appendix 2. Katya will correct me if I'm wrong when she does is that where it goes, Katya?
Can you repeat the question because I didn't hear you very well?
The question is the documentation that says, oh, here's my IP policy, here's my disclosure form. Is that Appendix 2 they stick that in?
It's Annex 2. Everything should be uploaded as Annex 2 as a single PDF.
So it goes in Annex 2. This is such an easy application. You don't even have a Part B. It's just in Annex 2. You upload as a single PDF, as Katya said. You do that, you're in. If you don't make the first cut, you save everything, you resubmit it under the second call, you're in. So it's not going to be, our goal is to get you in so we can provide you the support you need so that you can bring more industrial funding into your university, raise your research organization or center of excellence, raise your stature globally by doing so, being able to conduct more research and development activities or whatever you want to be doing. Our job is to help you do that by supporting you. And also we can look at how we can help you bring student interns in and other things to involve you in other programs that support this. We have a PhD in industry program, for example. We have a bunch of co-developed programs, all these kinds of programs dovetailing with the with your KTO activities, these industry collaboration programs, consortia programs, dovetailing because your knowledge transfer office is a way to open doors to these kinds of partnerships. So with that brief introduction, I'm going to turn it over to Katya to explain the IRIS system to you. And then if you have any questions, we'll take them in real time.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you very much. Good morning and welcome to our webinar. I will try very briefly to give you some information about the technical organization of the call. So just give me a minute to share my presentation. So, as already said, the organization of the KTO is established on the hub and spokes hub model. We are going to support the spokes through two different kind of activities. The open to public, the generic activities, and the one-to-one activities. So we are going to provide training and seminars that will be open to public, as well as in-house trainings. For those activities that they will be designed, they will be tailor-made, will be offered to the first 10 applicants. So it's very important to submit in time your application, and of course your application to be eligible, which means that it should include all the necessary documents, supporting documents, as already Leah informed you. A maximum number of 7 person days per spoke is going to be provided by the CKTO experts. So it's an open call. It will remain open until the May 2024. But as regards to the tailor-made activities that are going to be offered by the CKTO experts, we can close the call, this current call, if the budget is exhausted. So the call is going to be closed after we receive the 10 applications. So the eligible beneficiaries are the research organizations.
Just let me hop in with one quick comment, Katya. That's the 10 approved applications.
Yes.
So just submitting your application, it won't be rejected, but we'll say, oh, you're missing some information. You need to provide this information. So that slows you down in getting to the approved category. So it's just do it right the first time. You won't have to worry. You'll go all the way through and you'll be one of the 10 if you're the first 10 to get in your complete application that can be approved.
So it's very easy to submit your application, as already Leah said. The only thing you need to do is to submit as Annex 2 or Annex 3. I'm going to explain you later on the appropriate supporting documents, as these are described in the call of applications. So the eligible beneficiaries are the research organizations as approved by the foundation, the public research institutions which operate as a department or a unit in the public sector, and of course the private academic institutions that are not classified by the foundation as research organizations. So in terms of the conditions for participation, as already said, the proposal must be submitted by the legal representatives. This is very important, that the proposal for each spoke is going to be submitted by the legal representative. The number of applications per organization, it's only one proposal is allowed. But this is not applied to the organizations which host autonomous entities that they are able to submit their own proposal. Beneficiaries, we have specific conditions.
Just let me hop in with just one quick comment there. So if you're a center of excellence, basically autonomous with it, but you're affiliated with the university, you can submit. That's what she's saying.
Yes, because in this case, they have, we can consider them as autonomous entities because they can make their own decisions. And so this is an exception. Specific conditions apply in relation to knowledge transfer issues, as already Leah mentioned before. For example, the existence of budgets for the IP protection, IP policy, etc. Beneficiaries are legally binding to maintain the conditions as these are described in the call of obligations for throughout the period that the services are going to be provided. So the submission of applications is through IRIS. I think you are familiar with IRIS. The person as well as the organization should register in advance on IRIS portal, and the proposal must be submitted by the legal representative. So from the landing page of IRIS portal, you can go to the calls of proposals, and then if you sort open calls, you will find the call registration as a spoke, a provision of the CKTO services. And the submission of the application is very easy. It's considered the part B, the electronic part, in the system. It's only for tabs, which the majority of the fields are automated pre-filled. Just to let you know that when you create your proposal, your application, in the project duration, in the working positions, just put 0. It's something that the system will request you, and but you have to put 0 in order to be able to submit your proposal and validate successfully actually the proposal. You only need to identify yourself. So that's why it is very important to be registered on IRIS. If you are not registered on IRIS in advance, you will not be able to identify your organization name. And then the only you have to do is to upload the documents as Annex 2. All these documents that Leah mentioned before, everything should be uploaded as one PDF. And then Annex 3, this is optional only for the private sector entities. And we have, it's 2 documents that they have to be uploaded. The first is the loaded declaration. And the second, if it's a private entity and is not considered as a research organization, for example, the private universities, the provision of services is going to be offered on the de minimis regulation. So the de minimis and single entity form must be signed and uploaded. And that's it. It's very easy procedure. Part A is most of the fields auto-filled by the system. Annex 2, all the documents that Leah told you before must be submitted as one PDF document. And Annex 3, it's all the only for the private sector entities. And of course, for those that are going to be the services are going to provide us de minimis, we also request the signed de minimis form. So that's actually the whole procedure is very easy. Leah, the floor is yours.
Just let me emphasize one thing. When we're talking about the de minimis, that's I believe it's the 7 days from Meta. It's if I show up, it's not de minimis. You're not charged for that. That's just part of my normal duties at RIF. So hopefully that explains everything. Floor's open for any questions you might have.
Leah, there are 2 questions actually.
Okay, I can't. Where do I find the questions? Can you
In the Q&A. in the bottom.
Oh, okay, there's the
yeah,
Q&A.
you can read.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
looking in chat. Okay. Yeah, you can always use webinars, a camera with any webinar that I'm doing. So just let me answer that one. Legal representative is registered on is not the researcher. So that's right. The legal representative is not a researcher, and that's irrelevant here because this is not a research proposal. This is a proposal. This is an application for support. Am I correct in that, Katya?
The legal representative should be registered in advance. We request a coordinator. That's how the system works. But the coordinator is going to be the legal representative.
So I don't care if they have a research profile or not. I mean, that's irrelevant to me.
The legal representative, the system requires to be a user, to register as a user first, and then you need to fill the researchers most of the information as a researcher, and then you can apply as a researcher.
Forget what I said, do what Katya said.
And then you apply as a legal representative.
And in terms of sharing this presentation, I think we put all presentations up, don't we, Katya? Or Clarisis? If not, we can email it to all the attendees.
Yes, we will send after the conclusion of the webinar to all participants the presentation.
Good. Does anybody else have a question that they want to ask? Good. I guess it's clear.
We have another 2 questions, Leah.
Oh, good. Okay. Second question. There has to be somebody designated as your knowledge transfer officer. It would be nice if they're in their if it's in their title. I don't think it's a legal requirement that it's in their title, but if you're for your own purposes, if I'm at your institution and I'm trying to figure out, oh, I made an invention, who should I be talking to? Or, gee, I'm interested in doing a spin out, or I'd like to see about getting some help in finding industry partners for this. It would be nice to know that there is somebody designated for that and be able to look them up. So I would urge you to have a title. It might be industry liaison officer or whatever, or it might be knowledge transfer officer, but I would strongly encourage you to get a title and a phone number and email associated with that title on your internal website to say, hey, this is the person. If you need help, go to this person. Or if you want to submit something to you have a proposal that you got an award under, it says you have to go apply to the Central Knowledge Transfer Office as a condition, as a deliverable under this contract. What do I do? This person can help you do it. So that's my answer to that one. And then there is, when is the period that the service will be provided? That's the period in which it will be provided. This contract, I think, runs through 2025 or something. It's a long-term contract. They'll be running with after my contract with RIF is over. So the service is when you work it out with the Meta. There will, for those who win in this round, we will send them information on how to arrange for your hands-on support. For anybody who comes in and wants to have me help them, either under this or on the following one, typically what people have been doing is emailing me and saying, hey, can we get together? Let's talk on the phone first about what we're interested in, and then I show up on your doorstep, which I am happy to do, because that's part of the fun of this job, is getting out of the office and getting to meet you and your researchers and see what's going on and be able to help in any way that I can help. And again, you know, if you want somebody to look at your intellectual property policy or the disclosure that you clipped from the web and threw in as a placeholder, whatever. I'm glad to do that kind of stuff. You just have to have those requirements to get in. Those are the basic fundamental things that any knowledge transfer office anywhere in the world is going to have. And if you can't get your management to allow you to do that much, it's not going to work, because you need management support at some point to do this kind of stuff. And that's why we have these very basic requirements in there. If you need me to come over and talk to your management about it, I am glad to come over and talk to your management about the, and, you know, look sweet and demure and be charming and tell jokes and whatever it takes. Any other questions?
There are some questions, Leah.
Yep. Again, for that, when's the time framework? That's up to you. Let me switch my camera so I don't have to keep hopping up and down here. Hold on 2 seconds. Oh. There we go. Okay, good. Now let me see what else we got here. So that's when you receive the time framework for training, you work that out with Meta. I'll support you in that as need be. Yes, I consider knowledge transfer and tech transfer officer as the same. There is a joke that Americans use, which is when it comes to knowledge transfer, because knowledge transfer sounds really funny to Americans, because we like to say, well, isn't that what a university does every time it educates a student? Knowledge transfer. So we tend to think in terms of tech transfer, but over here you talk knowledge transfer, so we will talk knowledge transfer. I tried to submit, and it says you must register as the researcher before submitting the call. Katya, I believe, just addressed that one. You want to go through that again?
Elena, you have to register as a researcher only for the mandatory fields. There are some fields that you don't have to fill. If your organization has already an approved legal representative, and there is no need to be registered as a legal representative unless your organization wishes to have a second legal representative to deal with all the CKTO matters. So in that case, you have to fill your profile on Iris. You can ask anybody that would like to be registered as a legal representative can submit a question to the support center, and we'll gladly assist you to register as a legal representative.
The other thing is, right now, if you have a legal representative, get the proposal in. That's my advice. What we've done for another university is the legal representative on a CKTO case has said, I'd like this person to be my representative. That's fine, that works for us. If the legal representative sends in an email and they say, we want, for the training purposes of training and this, that, and the other thing, this person, please work with this person, we will. We're not trying to make this hard on anybody. It's just that we have to get through the IRIS system, and the system has certain requirements, and we don't control that, unfortunately. So we're kludging through to get through the system. Okay, what I would suggest, Elena, is if you've already tried again, it's probably going to bounce back to you, Katya. Is that what's going to happen? Who's going to work with them?
There is probably a technical problem, because you have in place a legal representative and you participate in our program, so there should not be a problem. I think that we can discuss that after the webinar, so because it's very specific and very technical. Okay.
Yeah, so you and Katya get together after this, and let's see if we can figure out what this problem is. If it's a big problem, we'll figure out how to hold a place for you so that you're not penalized because the system is crashing. But it's probably some silly little thing. The good news again is for everybody, if you don't get in the first 10, don't worry, you're still gonna get all the generic stuff. And if you need hands-on support, I'm still here until next September, employed at RAF. So, and I'm in country, so not a problem for me to drive down to wherever you are and visit and provide that hands-on support that you need. This is just, we've got a couple of options under the system, and under the contract, we're trying to make sure we use all the resources that we have at our disposal to provide you the best possible service as we implement this hub and spoke system. Any other questions that anybody would like to ask before we break? Okay, so as you all know, there is always the help desk open. So feel free to go to the help desk and they will send it to me. I cannot answer a question directly outside of this webinar. And the reason for that is we want to make sure everybody has the same information. So if you go to the help desk, everybody gets the same information, and that's how we make sure it's fair. Again, if we can be of any support to you, don't hesitate. Please apply to become a spoke. Thanks for your time. Thank you, Katya.
Thank you very much, all.